What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Untouchable City Prepper. And I was getting ready to do my taxes. Me and my wife, we was talking over some things. And, some people call me crazy because, I don't really, since me and my wife been together almost 10 years, and I gave her the option of working. You know what I'm saying? Well, let me rephrase it. I didn't really give her the option of working, but I told her, if she works, she works. If she don't, she don't. But she does have a master's degree in education, so she wants to continue to teach. But point blank, I don't pay all the bills in my house, but I pay the majority of the big ones. Like I take care of the taxes, the electricity. The only thing I ask her to do is take care of the kids. But she, we very rarely have conversations about money. Because we own our house. Not a big house, but it's a decent house. And we stay in Michigan, in the city of Detroit. And I used to be a manager in retail. Made pretty decent money. I stepped down. I still make pretty decent money. I just basically went from salary to hourly. So I kind of really gave myself a raise. Give or take. But the conversation came up where she I want to buy a new house. I want us to buy a new house in, the next 2 to 3 years. And I make roughly about between, I sell stocks, I sell stocks, I buy stocks, I run my landscaping and snow removal company, and then I work my regular 9-to-5 job. So I roughly make about $100,000 a year when you add in all three of my incomes. Okay. I take about almost 70 from my 9-to-5. Then I do another 20,000 in my landscape and snow removal, 15 to 20,000. Then I do another maybe 10 in stocks every year. So that's 10. Sometimes I make a little more, give or take. It depends on how the market is. If you know stocks, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, I want to buy a new house. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, I started looking at what we got saved up and everything. And I'm the kind of husband, leader, person, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I understand that my wife is here to help me, but I like to know that I can take care of everything myself if need be, because things will happen. I don't want to get in a 20-year, we never had a mortgage. Our house, we paid cash. At first I used to rent out a 1-bedroom condo before we met, but then we had kids, so we had to get a house, and give me all that other stuff. But I'm here to tell y'all today, man, $100,000. If you make $100,000 a year, that's really not enough to buy a house, bro. $100,000 is not enough to buy a house these days. I was looking at it, and I'm pretty good with money. You know what I'm saying? I never finished college, but I was going to school to get my master's in business. And you would think 100,000 would be enough money to to buy a house now. And I know that our parents we grew up, I'm an 80s baby, and I grew up hearing, 100,000 was like the goal or whatever, but it's really not a lot of money when you got a family. Now, if you by yourself, if you live by yourself and you're a young man, you make 100,000, you should be doing fucking awesome. But if you got a family, man, like 100,000 is not a lot of money, bro. 100,000 is not a lot of money. So the houses we was looking at were between like 300,000. You know what I'm saying? And to get the mortgage that we want, which is roughly, I want it to be at around $1,500 to $2,000, we need to put down, and somebody in real estate could tell me, like, we need to put down between $40,000 and $50,000. My credit score is excellent. My credit score is like 800. You know what I'm saying? It's probably above an 800, but to get that number down to where I need it to be, we need a good $40,000 to $50,000 down. And right now, we just don't have that kind of money just saved up. Like, so I told her, I said, we just gonna have to stack money, man. We just gonna have to stack to buy this new house, man. If we want a new house. I really don't want to buy a new house because I don't want to be 20 years a slave. You know what I'm saying? Have we kind of outgrown our house? Yes, we have, honestly. But like, our quality of life is pretty damn good. Like, we eat what we want. Like, if something unexpected come up, we not panicking. Like, my car note, I got my truck note, I got that under control. Like, my truck note is only like $500, so we not struggling with that, and it kind of pays for itself because my business pretty much funds that, and I write that off on my taxes. You know what I'm saying? My wife owns her car, so she doesn't have a car note. So like, we take about 2 to 3 vacations every year. Like, my family, they just came back from Hawaii. For my birthday, we went to Dominican Republic. So I told her, like, you want to buy this house, we ain't going to be able to do all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be like straight by the books for 20 years. I'm 40 years old. My wife is about 43. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you talking about 40, 50, 60 years old, going into our 70s, trying to pay off a house. You know what I'm saying? Me, honestly, I don't think it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? But, like, our children are young. They're 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? They are getting bigger. They do need a bigger room. But in my mind, I'm like, our quality of life is good. I would take a quality of life over a bigger house. Because it's, I'm always thinking, like, what if one of our jobs lay us off? What if my job lay me off? What if my business crash? All these things. You know what I'm saying? But I'm here to tell you guys, like, 100,000 seems like a lot of money. But when you have a family and you trying to eat every day, like, we don't get any government assistance. Like, we pay for insurance. Like, glory be to God, like, the insurance comes, my wife takes care of the insurance, so that's a huge relief off of me. So I am grateful that she does work so she can handle that. But, Like 100,000 ain't enough, bro. I know a lot of people think 100,000 that's not making 100,000 is a lot of money, but man, when I start looking at them numbers on them houses, because like I say, I'm great with finances, and I was looking at them APRs and on these homes, you know, and I think I'm still gonna try to go for it, but I'm like, we really need to save like $10,000 a year. So like I told her, like that's like 2 vacations right there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, just let you guys know, man. And I live in Michigan, so the cost of living in Michigan is pretty comfortable. I will say that, compared to other places that I visited. If I didn't live anywhere besides Michigan, I would probably live in Cincinnati, Ohio. You know, I like Cincinnati a lot, even though I hate the Buckeyes. But, and keep in mind, I don't have a degree. Like I said, I never finished college. My wife does have a master's degree. You know, and, you know, my wife did say she was willing to help me, you know, pay the mortgage of the house, which I'm cool with. You know, I'm not one of these like super He-Man type dudes where I'm like, I don't want my wife to help me. I just like to know that if I need to, I could do it by myself. You know, but in this economy, man, you can't do anything by yourself. You know, so I didn't want to go back into management because it's a lot of stress involved, bro. Like, it's a lot of stress. Like, when I go to work every day, like, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy every day. When I go to work, I'm happy. I go to work, I come home. Like, when I was the manager, I was the senior manager at my job. Like, I used to have to check 15 emails every day. I used to have to write people up. I used to have to check people's attendance. I used to have to get cussed out by, you know, clients or members and all this other stuff. And, you know, I had to watch budgets. I had to watch payroll. I was under a lot of fucking stress. I was under more stress than I thought I was. But I was making a lot of money. But I was just like, I was overwhelmed, bro. I'm not gonna lie. And especially as black men, like, we so tough and we so rough, like, we don't really get the chance to just vent and just tell people, like, man, I'm under a lot of fucking pressure. Like, it's always, and not just black men in general, but we don't get a chance to say, like, hey, man, I can't take this. So, like, when I told my wife I was stepping down, she was kind of like, why? You know, they don't, you know, black women don't really give a damn about black men mental health. They just think, like, we just supposed to go make money and just be a machine and just pump out hundreds of thousands of dollars and thousands and just supposed to have money coming out our ass. And, like, man, it don't work like that. It's hard. Like I said, I got to do 3 things to make $100,000 a year. And, like, I'm constantly working on that shit. Like, I'm always looking at stocks. Like, at work, I'm always trying to get overtime. Like, in my business, I cut grass in the blazing heat, you know what I'm saying, to make that $15,000, $20,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then now I got another dilemma because the guy that helped me, he took some drugs and now he's in the hospital and he had a stroke. So I don't even know if he's going to be able to help me this year. So I just want to tell everybody, man, like, 100,000 is still a lot of money. Don't get it twisted. But when you look at it in the bigger spectrum of things, it's really not. It's really, like, you really just made, I don't even know if 100,000 middle class no more. I don't even know. You know, I don't even know what you want to define a middle class as anymore. I don't even know. Like, I really think middle class is like 150 and up, or 170 or something now. Like, really, 100,000 is just like, you just okay. Like, you okay. If you can control, like, and keep in mind, we don't pay rent. So if we had to pay rent, we'll be ass out. Like, I do pay, like, our taxes, you know what I'm saying? But they honestly not that much. But, like, if I had to pay rent out of that 100,000, like, I'll be hit, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, if I had to pay rent, I'll be hit. I'll be hit. That's like $1,500 a month. You know what I'm saying? That's like damn near one whole check. You know what I'm saying? So, I love you guys with the strength of Christ. Hope your new year is going well. Hope you and your family is well. I hope you guys got something out of this video. I love you with the strength of Christ. Like, share, and subscribe. Untouchable City Prepper. Deuces.